Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining me on Life and Surround. In celebration of the new immersive audio release from 2L, PAX, I'm going to be briefly discussing this album and then diving deeper than I ever have before into the meticulous, immaculate, and fascinating process that 2L undergoes to bring us these amazing immersive audio recordings. Special thank you to Morten Lindberg of 2L for supplying me with a lot of information, answering my questions, and sending me a copy of PAX. Morten is just a salt of the earth, genuinely super nice individual, a pleasure to chat with. I believe I was steered his way by David Miles Huber, so I just want to give a shout out to you, Mr. Huber. I'm wearing my Haida Art t-shirt in your honor. It's been a while since we've caught up, so I hope you're doing well and just wanted to say hello. As we can see from their release schedule, which they keep posted on their site, 2L is releasing 5 SACD Blu-ray packages this year with accompanying downloadable files and streaming offerings, and then an additional 2 titles for download and streaming only. 2L is meticulously intentional about its signal chain, incorporating the fewest possible steps from recording to final media. Titles are released on SACD, Blu-ray Pure Audio, downloadable file, and now via streaming. Good news for those of us who may at times wish to simply enjoy streaming content rather than buying and waiting for physical media, and also for those of us who wish to audition the musical content and maybe the immersive qualities of certain titles. I became familiar with 2L when I picked up a Blu-ray audio called Nordic Sounds Reference Recordings back when 2L was constrained merely to 5.1, if you can imagine that. Shortly thereafter, I picked up a copy of Magnificat, which you see here, and I was immediately impressed with the pristine quality of the audio. Later on, I picked up a copy of Mass for Modern Man, which remains one of my favorite recordings by anyone, and my mind was blown and a new fan of 2L was made. 2L views immersive audio as a medium for creating musical sculptures, 3D creations that can just captivate and expand your imagination. I've learned a lot over the years by studying 2L's methods, and I have talked about them a lot on this channel because I am truly, genuinely fascinated by what they do. And so I'm diving deeper today because I think you may learn a lot and be fascinated as well. So now let's briefly discuss the PAX album. Released just a couple of days ago on April 5th, performed by Ensemble 96 and the Current Saxophone Quartet, with Nina T. Carlson conducting. An ebook, other notes, and copious recording and performance photographs are available on the 2L site. You just need to find the album cover and click on it. You will just be privy to as much information as your heart can desire. This is a feature that 2L offers for each of their releases, and the album pages on their site are immaculately curated and, in my opinion, a fascinating and wonderful resource. And I can't recommend bookmarking 2L.no strongly enough. A concert with the theme of peace is given annually in Norway, each year's content being new, but the theme always being peace. This title, PAX by 2L, is a recording of the latest concert. Not done live, but recorded over the span of about a week, but it is the content from the latest concert. It consists of 5 pieces written by 4 composers. I won't try to pronounce their names, but I will display their information here. PAX, a piece written for saxophone quartet, a choir, and additional vocal, lyrically consists of only 2 words, the Latin for peace and the German for peace. Speak Louder, written for choir and soloist, contemplates extinction, a current piece written for saxophone quartet, pollination, written for soprano, alto, tenor, bass, plus 4 soloists, contemplates the importance of pollinators in sustaining life. And finally, Lux, written for saxophone quartet, double choir, and 3 female voices. Taken from the Lux Eterna Catholic Requiem, it contemplates the hope for eternal light. At times, the compositions and tone of this release remind me, in a very good way, of Ennio Morricone's work on the original motion picture soundtrack for The Mission, which is one of my all-time favorite recordings. So if that can be offered as encouragement, I really do hope that you'll check out PAX by 2L. As I said earlier, 2L, with Morten Lindberg seemingly being the prime mover and shaker, take a meticulous approach to producing their immersive audio releases. Worthy compositions are matched with ideal acoustical locations, such as music halls, churches, and cathedrals. Then both are matched to ideal performers, including the right conductor for the job, vocalists, and instrumentalists. 2L recordings generally span about a week, so we are not talking about one-take affairs, but rather lessons learned, take after take, inform better and better takes until it's determined that magic has been captured. 2L records at 352.8 kilohertz, 24-bit in DXD, which is a linear PCM technology. 192 kilohertz is selected for stereo and 5.1 on their final media. 48K is selected for Atmos because that is the limitation of Atmos. 96K is selected for RO 3D. SACD quality DSD is utilized for the SACDs that come in their SACD Blu-ray packages. And the SACDs also contain a Redbook CD stereo layer, but then you also get SACD stereo and SACD 5.1. That disc also contains MQA stereo, I believe, on the CD layer. So 2L go out of their way to really cover the bases for whatever your favorite format is for playback. In addition, they've recently begun offering high-quality downloads and now streaming as well, which is a very exciting prospect for individuals such as myself. Recording is done via the proprietary, and in my opinion, rather amazing 2L Cube microphone array. The 2L Cube can be expanded to become the 2L Prism, being elongated for certain acoustical environments. This microphone array is designed to capture recordings natively in a 7.1.4 configuration, meaning there are 7 microphones at a lower level, then 4 microphones at an upper level, and dedicated microphones for bass content, such as a double bass, sometimes known as an upright bass, and other bass-laden instruments. There is a one-for-one relationship between 2L's microphones and the loudspeakers of a 7.1.4 playback system, such as the one I have in my living room. Now, you've heard me talk about 7.2.4 regarding my system here at home, and that just means that I'm running 2 subwoofers. And if I shut off one subwoofer, there is often very little difference discerned, so it is the same LFE content. The microphones of this array are highly sophisticated, being DPA 4003s and DPA 4041s. Both of these microphone models are omnidirectional condenser microphones, with the 4003s having a smaller diaphragm and the 4041s having a large diaphragm. These are multi-$1,000 microphones, selected and beloved by Morten Lindberg. He has come over the years to intimately know these microphones, which helps him make proper audio engineering decisions during recording. Also of note at the recording stage of 2L's process is a special power supply which feeds the recording devices and the microphones, ensuring that they have proper power. 2L personnel also undergo considerable effort to detect and mitigate any extraneous noises at the chosen acoustical environment. The goal is to capture all clean recordings requiring no filtering. Recording concluded, editing is done on Emerging Technologies Pyramix digital audio workstation. The original recording quality is preserved right up to the point where individual mixes are mastered for their final media. The immersive mixes benefit from all of the 11 or more microphones that captured their content. For the 5.1 mixes on offer, the heights and two of the surround channels are muted. And for stereo, you generally hear only the front left and right microphones, with sometimes a little bit of the surround microphones added for some depth. We're not talking about an overdub style of recording. None of the musical content in these recordings is stacked. None of it competes, but rather the channels are all complementary to each other. So mixing per se is not necessarily required, but maybe some level balancing. Morten describes his process at this stage as just bringing up the faders. With proper microphone placement in an ideal acoustical environment, none of the information captured by Morten Lindberg's microphones is discarded. It's all available for us to hear. The goal of 2L is to give each listener, as closely as possible, the perspective of being at the actual acoustical location of these performances, and given the spot of a special guest amidst the performance, and often quite near the conductor. This gives each listener the opportunity to be drawn in and immersed by these musical works in really an unparalleled way. Each performance interacting with the space chosen for it. So I hope this gives you a sense for why I have long time been absolutely fascinated with 2L's recordings and with the process used to ensure the highest possible audio quality. Not only is 2L dedicated to offering the highest possible audio quality for each of their releases across a vast choice of formats, but I also find each release to be a new adventure. Some of their releases are a bit more accessible than others, but I find each one to be expanding to my mind and often to my soul as well. So I bring this video to you out of genuine fascination and admiration for this record label that has for quite some time been my favorite on this planet. I hope that you will be inspired to check them out. You can go check out their website, 2l.no, and just do some exploring. You can now audition their musical content on streaming services. And I hope that many of you will embark on your own explorative journeys through this just rich and vast body of work. I appreciate 2L very much, including Morten Lindberg, and I just want to offer sincere thanks that this music is a part of my life. It definitely is a significant way in which I have managed to live life in surround.